We'll say the pledge of allegiance, turn off all cell phones and remove all hats. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Okay, the first thing on there is approval of minutes from the board direction meeting on 12/15/21. Do I have a motion to approve? A second.
I'll second.
All right, motion approved by Metcalf, second by Luce. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, the second thing I have is approval of minutes from the board workshop on 1/4/2022. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Metcalf, approved by Stratton. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. All opposed? None. Okay, the first thing on here is letter from Dean George. Secretary Stratton will read it, please.
Hello. Okay. All right, this is from Dean George, one of our residents. As a BCPO member, I have been keenly interested in the activities of the Board of Directors and have been following the meetings online and occasionally in person while at our home in Brookridge, and I thank you for your time and effort on our behalf. Our country continues to navigate through many challenges with the pandemic, adapting to many changes that help states and communities continue to effectively do the work of the people who elected them. As I reviewed our ballot for the upcoming Board of Directors election and the annual meeting, it struck me we, BCPO members, have an opportunity to review our own bylaws and consider modifying them to help get more member participation. I am sure that the issue has been reviewed in years past, but things have changed dramatically in the last 2 years to allow board members to attend and participate in board meetings via electronic means in nearly every community. In fact, technology has facilitated making the changes permanent as people learn how effective they can be. Our bylaws state, Article 5, Section 2, that to be eligible for the election to the Board of Directors, BCPO members must be full-time residents. I suspect that at least 1/3 of our members are not year-round members, and it might even be a higher number. As elected members of our Board of Directors must be year-round resident members, many very talented and qualified people are left out of the opportunity to be elected as a member of the board by virtue of the fact that they are not year-round residents. A suggestion would be to allow up to 2 members of the Board of Directors be partial year residents who would be available for attending meetings via electronic means when not at their Brookridge home. It would be an opportunity to welcome new ideas and get more participation from BCPO members. Having nearly 2 years' experience with electronic meetings of the board I currently serve on in Vermont, I can attest that it has made our effectiveness even better. I hope you will give the idea consideration and would be happy to help provide additional information if requested. Best regards, Dean George.
I can answer that question. The reason that in the past it's been brought up about board members not living here permanently is primarily because there's got to be liaisons. There is there's stuff that don't allow that to happen. Plus, when things are like emergency meeting, and we can't get a hold of like members that are out, we could not have a quorum if we don't have 5. So that's one thing that's an issue, like in some special, we've had special board meetings in the last month and a half that we've not had a quorum last time. So that's an issue with that, because you got 2 directors that may not be here, and you gotta have, what, 5 out of 7, 4 out of 7? 4 out of 7, so if one member's sick, then you can't have a quorum, and there's stuff that has to be decided, like immediately when it concerns like a legal matter, especially when that happens. So this can be looked at, we'll have to relook at this, but my opinion is it wouldn't happen because of that, because the legal issue involved with having to make a decision like right now to do like a mediation or anything like that. So, okay, the next letter is from Larry Biddle and Secretary Stratton.
Rules and regulation pet rule change. Code enforcement Greg Schubert has commented the current wording in our rules and regulations are unenforceable as worded regarding pet control and the protection of private property. Mr. Schubert has reviewed the below. He has also stated he would be happy to work with the BOD to come up with rules he would be authorized by the board to enforce. Our Rules and Regulation Committee has yet to be organized, so I'm submitting to the board a possible replacement for our pet control rules and regulations, Article 1, Section 16. The replacement would be pets. A, all pets must be physically leashed when outside of the home or fence or enclosure and shall not be permitted to run loose. B, due to insurance requirements, pets are not allowed at the pool or in any BCPO building or facility with the exception of service animals. C, no more than 2 pets, not including any pets which live and are maintained within an enclosed cage, are permitted on any lot. D, pet owners are responsible to keep their lots clear of solid waste in a timely manner and picked up immediately when off the owner's property. E, all pets must be physically leashed when off of owner's property with a leash no longer than 6 feet. F, pets are not permitted to trespass upon private property of others without the owner's permission. G, no pet shall be permitted to remain if it disturbs the tranquility of Brookridge or the owners, occupants, or tenants thereof, or is dangerous, annoying, a nuisance, or destructive of wildlife. Note, items E, F, G mirror Hernando County law. Respectfully submitted, Larry Biddle.
I would like to speak to that. Just an FYI, yes, the Rules and Regulations Committee had a little start. There was many things going on, including COVID began restricting us, and then we were able to stop, and then they had to go again. I have reached out to 3 of the members, and I've just got to get in touch with Captain Schubert to see how we want to start it, and what I would like to do is to invite all of the people with resumes that have sent in resumes to at least come to our first meeting so we can explain why we have the rules and regulations, and we'll have a way to go about looking at all of them. And I have Mr. Biddle's letter in my packet.
Okay, before you go any further with that, did I miss something as far as, did the board approve 2 members of the committee already?
Not yet, I've just reached out to them.
Okay,
And last month, I was, this past month I had 2 cataract surgeries, so I've been out of commission for a month also, so, and they're aware of that.
okay.
Okay. Wasn't decided what I wanted.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is a letter from the Brookridge Men's Club.
Okay, to be read by me. Okay. The Men's Club would like to host an event on March 9th, 2022 from 6 to 9:30 p.m. in the Brokerage Clubhouse, a horse race. If this event is successful, we will host additional of the same. We have checked the above date and the time availability, and it is available. This event is similar to the one hosted at High Point by the Kiwanis. They would bring all equipment needed to run the race, with 10 to 12 of their members to assist the men's club to host the event, requesting outsiders to attend. So, the motion is to approve a horse race for March 9th from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the clubhouse for Brookridge residents and outside guests, and working out of facilities, personnel schedules, so no overtime is incurred for this event. Do I have a second?
Did you make the motion? You so moved?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, motion by Stratton, second by Metcalf. All in favor? Does anybody want a discussion about it anymore first?
I'll just say that, a few years ago, and it was the sign committee for the new sign that had put that on, and it was a ton of fun, and we made a lot of money. So I think that's something, as long as we can keep COVID away from our door, that we'll start having some fun again.
Anyone else have anything?
Yes, this is nothing new to Brookridge. Back in 2011 or 12, the Men's Club did Vegas night horse races right here. Right in front of you, horses were set up. They had a great time. I couldn't believe the people were yelling and screaming about the horses running on the grass. Inside. It was a great time, and that's in the past. But it was great. As far as, I'll mention some names. Mr. Keller, that's Howard Keller. Howard Keller, Mr. Morrison, and Rocky Miles, they were involved in this. Let me tell you, they put on a great show. So we hope to do something again with the Men's Club doing this here coming up.
Anyone else? Okay, must have a vote on that. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None?
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is a report from me. President's report. I'll start off by saying that I'll talk about the mask mandate and why it's here and that reason. The reason it's here is because staff, how many members? Probably 12 to 14, is that correct?
Yeah.
Tested positive for COVID, there was an exposure. Some of them were mild symptoms, some of them were no symptoms at all, but I don't want, or I think anybody up here will agree, they don't want the responsibility to know that they've been exposed and let somebody else get it that's against the vaccine or against taking it or whatever. And what we have is, if say, for example, in my opinion, we've got 2 monitors here that are female. And right now, one of them's sick. So during that time frame, neither one of them tested positive for COVID. The reason we do the mask thing, that we want to keep them as safe as possible, plus You gotta remember, if a lady falls in the restroom out here, there's no guy gonna go in there, or she's not gonna have no access to somebody to pick her up, somebody to find her. That's why we have female monitors. So that's why we do what we can to protect them, because it would not be right to let somebody just lay out there for 2 or 3 hours and not be checked on. So, that's the reason for it. We were short-staffed as well. We only had 4 people here at the clubhouse. I think we couldn't open the office up. Carol was the only one that tested negative. And as far as board members go, I know I tested negative. Gail tested negative. Did y'all test negative?
Yes.
Okay. So we couldn't open the office back up because Carol can't run the thing by herself. She's real good, but she can't do everything.
Oh,
She
nice.
tried though.
So, yeah, we tried. We sat one day and I think we separated all the mail out and everything, and it was probably, 150 pieces of mail one day?
10 days.
So, yeah, we don't want to shortchange anybody or shortchange, closing things up or anything like that. And I didn't want to see Lynn and Susan get sick, because then we'd have to shut things down here, because nobody could check on them in the bathrooms or showers or anything. And that's why we did the mask thing. The mask mandate, we're checking that. The Friday, we're checking it again to see what the numbers are on, and I think the numbers got as high as 35? Is that true, Linda? I know you've been looking at that thing. I'm sorry. Barbara, is that? Yeah. You haven't checked it lately? Okay, well, last time I checked, it was close to 35%.
You only know what it is now?
So now, you can check it now, Vance, if you got it.
There was like,
27 last Sunday.
13% today.
It was down from 35 to 13.
It was 27
12.5%
last Sunday.
right now. It's been dropping by 2 or 3 points every day. So I'm watching the same thing you guys are watching.
Okay, so we're gonna look at that on Friday to see what it's gonna be. I hope that I know Lynn's sick that works here. I don't know if she's not got COVID or anything, does she? She does? Okay, she got it last week then. So,
She got it today.
she got
She
it
was tested positive today.
today. Okay. Well, I wish you hadn't said that now, because I had contact with her yesterday.
Well, then put your mask on.
Put your mask on then.
I mean, I stood right beside her yesterday, so,
Oh, well.
uh,
Hope you have a test at home.
She wasn't at work yesterday.
No.
Jerry, can I ask that the board, the entire board, not just whomever you're telling, be apprised of these situations? They're something that all of us should be aware of and should be making decisions on. And I don't know why that's not happening.
well, this decision was really made by me and Carol that first day. I got the phone call Sunday morning that Trona had,
Please don't use names.
okay, we've been exposed, so we had to do something before Monday morning. That's where it comes from.
And yet, the board wasn't notified that there was a decision made either. Or,
If I could make a suggestion, we send the email out to the membership. The board should be apprised of things like this, so if there's just an email going out, Friday, saying this is what it is, and we have to close it down or something, I think it would be really helpful for all of us instead of us finding out.
yes,
Well, how can you do that when there's nobody in the office, and we don't get word of it, that we've been exposed till Sunday?
May I
Nobody
suggest-
there.
May I suggest, if you found out on Friday,
Nobody found out on Friday, we found out Sunday
We're talking
morning.
this week, we're talking this week, that's all.
Jerry, I'm trying to offer solutions So please don't get your Irish up.
That's not a solution when it happens when we get notified
Excuse
of
me,
voting.
excuse me,
That's not enough.
excuse me. Perhaps you could pick up the phone if nobody's around to and send out an email.
Okay, if we can, this is something that, something like this, okay, something like this, if there's nobody to do an email, Jerry can just text me and then I'll send out the email to everybody.
Thank you, Gail.
We could do that, if that's something that, that they'll figure out.
Well, don't tell me it'll be done, we could figure this out, not in a board meeting, because believe me, if I don't go to a town hall, I don't hear anything.
No, that's information that we can just send out as a board.
I don't get one. I don't get one. Everything has to fall where I've got to do the work and then notify y'all. When there's something like this and Whit's told y'all that there's exposure, then we're gonna say, don't do it, or don't have a mask, or don't do the testing, or don't do anything.
No, that's not, it's just, no, Jerry, you and Carol make the decision, that's fine. But just let the board, just inform the board. We just send an email to the board saying, this is the decision of this week. And then just go week by week.
We do get asked, we are representatives of the members. They call us, they say, what's going on? And I say, I don't know.
Hey Carol, let me ask you a question. When did you know how to send out emails on Tuesday?
Were you there? 2 weeks ago, on Monday, when Jonah was talking on Sunday, did you send a mass email on a Monday? I believe so.
I would like to know if any of the board of directors are on the mass email. Because they should be.
I am, but not Rich.
Yes. I know what you're saying, Carol, but there's protocol. It would just be nice for the board members to get an email suggesting. But that's something that, like, Jerry can just text me and I can do it for you.
Got the floor real quick. About 18 months ago, the office was closed because the COVID broke out. Mark Keller, myself, Rosemary, and a few other board members went down to the office and we volunteered to work that office. We sat on the other side of the wall and we took care of the people coming in. And I did the washroom with a gentleman sitting right back there, Ken Duncan. We did the washrooms in both the places, cleaned them, sanitized them. And I'm with the guy who sanitized the table, the chairs, the handles, all the doorknobs in that building, every time we had a meeting. So we tried to keep it the best we possibly could to keep the business running as it should be. And we didn't do it this time.
Because you knew about it.
Okay, I would say we move on, please.
I
I don't
agree.
think this should be,
I agree.
it's just a suggestion. Okay?
Okay, general manager report.
Well, the last 2 weeks have been trying, to say the least. I would like to thank everyone for their patience and their understanding while the office was closed. Everyone is back in the office now, and we're doing our best to catch up on emails and phone calls. Payments are still being posted this week, so if your check hasn't cleared, please wait until next week before calling the office to see if we received it. I heard there were a lot of rumors from residents pointing fingers at people they assumed started this. You can't blame one or two people for what happened. Just because this is a gated community doesn't mean we're protected from the outside world. Residents come and go, visitors are allowed in, and the expo brought in a lot of outside vendors. The only thing the rumors did was hurt the people who were falsely accused. Unfortunately, these are the times we live in, and we can only hope it will be over soon. Due to the office and clubhouse having to close, the news and views are going to be late getting to the printer. With February being a short month, the news and views will not be here by March 1st. It will probably be more like March 7th or 8th. I'd also would like to remind people that the assessments are now $48. If you want to have an ACH, please come to the office and fill out a new form. Even though you may have filled one out for last year, the admin office has to have a new one that gives us permission to take out the new amount. And I really do. It was a very difficult time for Jerry and I.
Yes, it was.
And we did our best, and I'm sorry if people are unhappy, and we will try and do better, and hopefully we won't have to do this again.
Carol, and I don't think, I think what's happening with some of the members is that there are things that are said and they don't know about them right away. And then people come and ask some of the members, did you hear about this? And they don't. All it takes is, we did this for a while and then COVID and everything hit. Jerry would just text me and say, this is what's going on. And then I would just say, to keep you guys, because you've got your own thing going on. And I do want to say that nobody should criticize you, Carol, for anything that you have done in any of this. And I want you all to know that Carol is a great general manager, and if she could be left to do her job, her first concern is for employees. You have to have a manager who loves their employees and will protect them, but will discipline them when they need to, because her next thing, and right up there with the employees, is that she protects all of us residents. We are all like her children, and she wants the best for us. And with COVID and everything, she and Jerry made the decision, and I know she had to make a really tough decision, but it's for our protection. And, so Carol, I commend you, and you and Jerry for what you've done the last couple of weeks. Things get, the give and take, the dialogue isn't always there, but you have been working your tail off, so I want to commend you for that.
Well, I appreciate that, thank you.
Okay, next we have unfinished business, treasurer's report, that's correct.
I don't count. Our treasury report is from December, as we didn't do much in the last 2 months. Operating account balance was $342,777.36. AR assessments are $130,787.13. DCR fines owed are $74,619.23. We have a total of 31 liens on file at that present time. Assessment income is $99,049.32. And somebody's gonna ask me, how do you get 32 cents? And I can't give you the answer unless it's maybe interesting. VCR fines is $7,800. Other income was $21,703.42. For our total income was $128,552.74. The administrative expenses for the month of December were $23,471.81. Facilities was $21,777.95. Public Works was $14,247.59, and code enforcement was $30,820.01. If you look way over to the right, if you all have this, and I assume you do, the administration budget year-to-date was at 81%. Facilities is 81. Public Works is 87. And code enforcement's at 101. Our reserve account, which would have been for 2021, which is correct, was $447,200, which is what we had to pay into the reserves in 2021, for a balance of $1,993,782 or $82.69. In the reserves we paid out, our mower came finally for Public Works. So out of the reserves with Public Works was $33,596.81. We also made a payment on the clubhouse roof, which is $26,384.66, which came out of their reserve account. So we paid out $59,981.47. Donated funds were $22,092.16. We paid out for Christmas decorations $94.83. So the total payout for the month was $94.83. That's what I have for it.
Question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Be gentle.
Operating account, ending balance, that's the amount of money that's in the one account. And I just want to point out that we have another 80,000 in another account, so our operating account ending balance is really 422, right?
Yeah, the 80,000 is, I believe you're talking about an 80,000 that's in those
Capital City, yeah.
two banks, right? Or that
Right.
one bank. We took it out, yeah. We took it out of, Bank of America and put two banks into one, yes. That's at 80,000.
So that's good news.
Yeah.
So, looking at this unaudited report, it looks like, the budget was 1,310,000,
Mhm.
but yet Carol did a wonderful job only spending $1 million. So,
There could be more coming to this because this was
Unaudited,
December,
yeah.
in January,
January.
may have some billing coming in that was.
well, I'll keep my
done in
fingers
December.
crossed.
You do that.
Cool.
Okay, the next on the unfinished business, code of ethics. Road Ministry, testimony.
A couple of meetings ago, I introduced to you, the members, our code of ethics, and we tabled it for discussion, which we have not really been able to have because of COVID and everything else that went on. The only reason I presented it is to let the membership know that we do have a code of ethics that the board of directors is supposed to follow and should be following, and it also applies to any board of directors for any club or organization. So it should, my feeling is this should be in all the board of directors packets when the new board comes in, and available to the members so they can read it over too.
So we're not gonna vote on it or anything?
If the board wishes to bring it up to a vote, I will put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
It doesn't have to be voted on, we just have to say that we'd like to follow it, and we would like to put it in the board of directors or, new packets for the residents, whatever you want to do, but it's not a vote, it's just something that should be followed, and we would like to follow it.
Our books do have a code of ethics. They were kind of, some of the verbiage was a little difficult to follow, so I believe that you brought it up to Carol, and you found it in the HOA leadership, just to make it more precise, and I don't feel that's something that need to be voted on. What we need to do is to make everybody aware that we do have the code of ethics, and they should be followed. And there was a question about if there's no penalties, what's the point if there's no penalties for failing to comply? I think it's the boards, it's the individual board members that should be watching, and if somebody is not following them, then I think the first thing would be to go to Carol, discuss it, and then let the person know, because we'd rather do it let them know, or let the committee member know, the board member know that, you did this. That's the way things used to be handled, that people, if somebody did not follow the code of ethics, that we handle it within the board.
Basically, what it's saying is each board member, when they're sworn in, has a fiduciary responsibility.
Exactly.
And that's all it's really saying. It's just wrapping up fiduciary responsibility into the code of ethics.
Okay, except for, so I looked at Rich's book and his does have it in it. But the book that I got, this is the oath that was even read to us at the annual meeting. And it just says, to the best of your ability and judgment and conforming with the governing documents. It's very short. So, you know, that's fine, as long as that's what you're gonna read at when you swear everybody in next March. And they agree to it, because this is what I swore to. And,
And everything in the book should be, even if it's not it's a document for the board members, how they should.
But again, in conformity with the governing documents, and we
Maybe we
don't,
can add something to
we have a situation where we don't even follow
that.
the fact that the board is a team.
Exactly.
There are certain members of this board that are,
If we can just ignore that part of it and let's go forward, that perhaps it's something that can be in their sworn packet.
well, like I said, there should be because I had, the last discussion said, Val, if you have a situation, write to the president. I did on January 14th, and you know what? He's still ignoring me, so apparently that doesn't work.
Okay, that,
Point of order, this is a personal dispute, let's get back to the meeting.
that is what we're trying, that's what we're trying to, we're trying to keep it to the issue. That's why I say don't make it personal. It's just something that the board can look at to add, perhaps, to the oath of office that you take.
But in our governing documents, in 720, in the bylaws, excuse me, I have the floor. Excuse me.
Hold it, Jerry, just hold it.
There are rules that says the board make these decisions, and this past year, the board has not made decisions. I haven't, excuse me, I still have the floor. I still have the floor.
Excuse me, this is a board meeting. Can we go back to board business, please?
The code of ethics is on the floor, and if we have a member of our board that is not abiding by the code, then we should be able to discuss it amongst ourselves. This is the
That
place
is not
where
what
we
the board
discuss
meeting
it.
is for.
Right.
If you
Yes,
have a
it
problem,
is. Yes, it is.
I would like to move this discussion, I'd like to move this discussion. Mr. President, can I table this discussion, or can I move this discussion?
Yeah, I agree to table it.
Yeah.
Motion to table it. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of table it, say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
You opposed?
Opposed?
The next thing we're on is the capital contribution. Discussion only by our use.
The capital contribution, for anybody that doesn't understand what we're saying, there is which I thought we'd get done and pass it when we had our, the vote for the new board, but I guess I messed up and I didn't get stuff done the way I should have got stuff done, so I apologize to you. Anyway, the capital contribution would have been and what it should be, is a $100 fee for anyone that purchases a home in here or they bring a new home in here. Does not affect anybody that's here. It would be something that is an extra fee that we would charge for anybody coming in here and putting a new home in or buying an existing home. I don't have numbers in front of me to tell you how many were brought in this year, but there was approximately around 200 at $100 a piece would be $20,000, which would go towards our expense, so that maybe your, HOA fees wouldn't be raising. That's another way to make some money for the community. But as it stands now, this would have to be voted on by the board to be put on the ballot for in the budget for 2023. So it'll, like in September, this would have to be voted on at that time. And it's up to the membership. If they do it, if the membership votes it down, then it can't happen. What else can I tell you about it? I think it's a good way to make some money, so that your HOA fees don't go up. An HOA fee goes up $1 for, I think it's about $33,000. For every $33,000 in expenses, your HOA fees go up $1. So this would cut at least $20,000 out of that for in the next year, if it stays the same. And the way things are going, it looks good. So just something for the board to consider next year, or excuse me, not next year, but this year, when the new budget comes out in September. I think I'm done. Anybody want to ask anything about that? I'd certainly try to help you. Thanks.
More to come. Thanks, Larry.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the letter of appeal from, and Linda Starr. They here? Okay. Okay, let's see, the copy is appeal request from the homeowners regarding ACC zone. The recommendation is discussed granting a variance for retaining wall in the right of way. The ACC guidelines okay, they made a motion that, they put an application for a row of standard concrete blocks stood on end and stuccoed on all three sides, about 20 feet long from existing blocks to the street. It was denied by the ACC committee, and they're appealing it to the board. I'm gonna explain the situation there. Someone come on up.
Hi, my name is Dan Isaacson, and I'm thankful that I can be here and do this appeal. Thank you for hearing us out. We bought the property on Country Club Drive about 1.5 years ago, and since then we've noticed that in situations of heavy rain, there's quite a bit of erosion that takes place because we own the vacant lot that's next door to our house. And this lot is probably on the steepest grade of any vacant lot in the community. There's about 9 pine trees on it, but there's not that much grass on it. And when it rains heavily, it carries a lot of soil from that vacant lot across our driveway. Some of it's deposited in the driveway, some of it's brought further down the road along the curb into our sidewalk area, and a lot of it gets carried all the way down along the curb into the intersection of Evermore and Country Club. And back on December 21st, we had about 1 inch of rain, and my neighbor and I ended up shoveling about 6 to 8 gallons of sand out of that intersection that came from this property. And so we started putting up a barrier out of concrete blocks, and then we were told to stop. And so we're here to try and have that allowed to stay in place. We have pictures of the barrier that we have. It's not finished. We stopped construction on it. And we have pictures that show the steep grade and how there's really nothing holding the soil. and how it comes downhill, you know, in large quantities. And so I'd like to bring those up so you could see those.
And Mr. Isaacson, I went and visited you one day, and of course the COVID got us again. But I saw exactly what you were talking about, and I noticed also that the part where the tar, where the land meets the tar, I would say a good 2 feet of that was already eroded, and there was nothing there for the tar, so that tar, the roadway is gonna start breaking up.
Well, I noticed after a particularly heavy rain, that you could see that about 10 inches of soil had eroded from along the side of Country Club Drive. And there was a hole, you could look down alongside the road.
Yes.
The hole was quite deep that I had to fill back in. And it's a problem of erosion. We're just trying to stop the erosion. It affects our property, it affects our neighbors, especially when the soil is in the intersection. It goes into the drainage, you know, it can flow down and become a problem there also.
Okay, I'm looking at section Article 3, design guidelines for the HPC community. And it states in 3.14, retaining wall. Walls shall be brick, block, masonry, casting closed, stucco with solid cap block unless any other material required by the county. The maximum height of any wall shall be 3 foot, above finished grade. Walls used in conjunction with landscaping plants may extend beyond the front of dwelling, but may not extend into the street waterway. And that's in the right of way, that's language. That's language. Also on it says, all walls shall be good neighbor type, finish quality on both sides, joined. But the main thing we're looking at there is that it can't be in the street waterway. Let's see, on my end of this, I've heard nothing but complaints this week or since it was built, because they constantly, we've had people do these stuff in the right of way, and they're seeing that. And to me, that house has been there since, well, I know y'all just bought it, but the house has been there since probably the 70s.
74.
How long?
It's a 74 model.
Okay, since 74, it's been there. So I wonder why, if there's been a problem before, why the people that previously owned it did not no, but I'm not saying somebody has
Let him speak.
84 to now, that's almost 40 years. So, this was.
I would like to add something to that, okay? There's many years when, you know, we have the heavy rains and nothing happens. But I think that in your case, there's eroded so much, and you want to take care of it, being a good neighbor. My main concern is, sorry, the thing about the washing down to your neighbors, that's not as a board member. My concern is the roadway. And that roadway is going to, I mean, I don't know how else you can stop it. I think it's eroded that much. But I think it's something that, I don't know if code enforcement has spoken to that, or Public Works has looked at it. But if they haven't, there's nothing we can do.
I'd like to mention that we brought along some photos, some pictures that we printed up of about half a dozen places around the community. And they all have walls or barriers, but really none of them have the grade problem and the erosion problem that we face. These places have, you know, a slight grade, minor grade. we have a very steep grade, as you can see from those pictures. You know, I believe if they're allowed to remain, ours should be allowed to remain. It's doing a service, not only for us, but for the community. That's how we feel. We're trying our best to stop the erosion of our property, of the road. You know, we've already had pavers that are starting to separate because of the loosening of the soil and the removal of soil going downhill. It's just gonna continue on, and I don't see another solution. If we don't stop it from moving off of our property and going downhill into the intersection, I just don't, you know, I don't know what else to do.
When people ask for a waiver, okay, and sometimes they're granted and sometimes they're not, it is not starting a precedent, it's taking care of a particular issue. I'm just wondering if Public Works could come down and look, and if there's nothing that can be done, I feel like I have a motion to approve the changes. So, we have no motion on the floor yet.
Are we talking about the fact that it's out in so close to the road? Is that
Yes, that's
really
right.
the problem that we're discussing?
The location of this barrier is in the right of way.
Okay. So, if you bring them back so that it's not in the right of way,
Well, that's
I don't know, what is
15
it, 10
feet.
feet or 50?
The
Oh,
total
you're
length of
20
this,
foot, so you're looking at maybe doing 5 feet, so.
they wouldn't stop the erosion if it was only
I
5
understand.
feet. The erosion is happening all the way to Country Club.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know if he went back, and I didn't know what the setback was. If you went back 5 foot, what's it really gain? That was my point that I was trying to make with you. If it came back just 5 feet,
It's not-
you're still gonna have the erosion, and it's still gonna go down through.
Right.
One question on this here. The erosion, it goes down to the, I call it to the store, okay, and it goes to the DRA. All the sand and dirt goes in there, and it keeps building higher and higher and higher. And then we gotta go in there and then clean everything out again. That's the Brooksville, Brookridge, I do that. Clean them, otherwise, the people in that areas will flood. It's common sense.
Right, but these people are asking because of the right-of-way issue.
Right.
That is the issue that we have right now. I don't know what harm it would be to extend that to the road. I just don't know. Those are the ones that have the humps? No, those are...
Now, there's quite a club is traveled by a lot of vehicles, and if we have erosion that's gonna weaken the pavement, then that's gonna affect accidents. And I don't think we can afford to have another car drive into a house.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the changes to the ACC guidelines and grant the variance for this very specific reason.
Second,
Any other discussion up here?
In other years, the board has been very adamant about not granting any variances, no way, no how. And I think it's time that we changed our attitude because each incident or problem is unique in itself. And the only reason the board did that when being on the board as long as I have is because we didn't want a floodgate of people coming in and wanting to circumvent our bylaws. I think in this case, we need to look at appeal for a variance and discuss it among the board and then vote on it. I mean, it's the way it is right now. We have no idea when that lot is for sale, if it's going to be sold or anything, so next time,
We own the lot.
you own that other lot. Okay. But I do think that we need to accommodate our residents more.
Well, I think you're setting a precedent because there's another lot that's on Dinsmore, that water runs from the golf course down the property, makes the gully about 2 foot deep. And we filled that in with dirt and gravel already. So if we start accommodating everybody, then that might be our problem with, it's gonna fall on Brookridge's responsibility. Well, y'all did this, and then the next person, and the next person. So never anything.
They are not asking for Brookridge to do it.
I believe that, as I said, this is a special incident. When it is, if the appeal is granted, it will be very specific in our minutes why we did that. And no one can have the right to come back and say, oh, but you did it there. There's a very specific, and it pertains to Brookridge property and Brookridge residents. It's not for aesthetics. And most everybody that comes for an appeal is mostly for aesthetics.
Just a thought, if we do this, if we give you the appeal and then we run this the way you've got it now, can you paint that some color so that it stands out rather than just, looking like concrete? Or blend in?
Yeah, definitely, it's gonna be, the stucco will be finished and then it could be painted easily.
I'm just thinking if it's in the right of way and somebody happens to drive out the side of the road, I don't want just a piece of concrete there, or block, but that color would blend in, I think it'll be,
If there were curb
red or yellow or something, if it will stand out, you know what I mean?
yes, we could do that.
So no other option is being like, study or anything? No other option like French drain or anything, it's just basically the wall?
Well, I've had several people over. I've had Harry Calderbank came over and looked at it, and there's too much volume for a French drain. I mean, we need to stop the rapid flow of water in order for it to drop what it's carrying on our property and not continue to carry that soil down the street. Yeah, I'm intending to put in pipes. They're going to be, pipes at the base of this barrier with stone over it, first pea stone and then heavier stone, so that it's going to hold what comes to it. It's not going to allow it to continue on.
What about swales or like, what else we got out there? Example is when the water runs off down here.
Like a berm?
Yeah. You want to say something, Captain Hunt, would?
The issue here is a wall or a berm or anything like that is not going to stop the flow of water. All it's going to do is divert it. The issue here is, from what I understand, is the dirt that is washing down with that flow of water. The way to stop that dirt is to have more sod and or grass put onto that piece of property. You can have a berm there with sod that does the same thing that a retaining wall will do, which is divert the flow of water. It doesn't stop it. The only way to stop the soil erosion is to put down more ground cover.
Please, Captain Schubert, I just want to understand that the having put the wall up is not what the problem is going to, it's not going to solve the problem. The problem is going to be solved. I just wasn't sure what you were saying.
A wall there, whether it's a wall made of concrete, a berm, anything like that, is not going to stop the flow of water. Water is going to find the path going down to the lowest point. All that berm and or wall is going to do is divert the water out more towards the street, which will undermine the street even more. The issue here, from what I understand, is the dirt that gets carried with that water. The dirt is coming off of that lot The way to stop that dirt from coming down is to put more ground cover on that lot.
Thank you. We had a similar situation where a berm was put in and the heavy rains just washed out the dirt that was under the berm. So we have decorative blocks that are not permanent.
Okay, yeah, this is a tough one.
Gail, one question again, real quick. The lots that are back of you are the one with the blue house coming into you, coming down, heat drains onto your property. And the one in back with the, I see with the swimming pool, is that the same level as your property coming in?
It's a little lower than ours.
Okay.
It's going down ever more.
Yeah,
They're
but
on
the
Evermore.
one up on, above you, that drains onto your property.
Yes, it all comes
Somebody
down.
else's, the road comes in, it's not even his water coming in, somebody else's water coming in.
Okay, this is a truly tough one. Captain Schubert, thank you for that information. And I hate to do this.
Can I say something here? Excuse me? It's my opinion that if I'm allowed to have a barrier that functions,
Somebody's talking, please.
my goal would be to try and build this barrier and also a barrier along that would be a certain length along the street so that it would stop the heavy rapid flow of water, which would then hopefully allow the sediment in the water to drop down onto my property before the water continues on.
Are you,
You know, that's my purpose in putting these pipes. You purchase these pipes 4-inch diameter. They've got holes pre-made in them. You put them at the base of your wall. You cover them with pea gravel, then you cover them with a larger stone. And what it's supposed to do is slow the water sufficiently so that it drops the sediments and it doesn't carry that off your property. That would be my goal. That's what I would be attempting to do.
since I made the motion, I would like to table it just until the next board meeting.
Gail, could we give him a probationary or a limit to see exactly what this causes, and then at least the board retains the right of removal?
No, I think it'd be better if we just tabled it. Only because we have other options that you were not aware of, okay? And I know, I see that problem. I know what your problem is, and it needs to be resolved. But I would like to table this until our next board meeting so we can hear, I can help you with because I'd like to hear what Captain Schubert a little bit more, maybe go up there and look at it, and Harry Calderbank, who is the person, the chairperson, thank you, of the ACC, and Jerry can be with us too, because he's the liaison. But since I looked at your property also, I would like to hear more. So within the next week, it can all be done, and then for the next meeting, we'll have a better handle on exactly what we can all do. I think if we went on with the motion now, I don't think it would be approved. I'd rather table it and be able to come back at the next meeting rather than have it be not approved at all.
Your one thought, though, if I'm understanding correctly, is on the top side of this wall, the barrier, whatever you want to call it, is to put like 4-inch drain pipe in there, perforated pipe,
Yeah.
and then cover that with stone. So when the water comes down, it's going to run into your pea gravel. I guess that'd probably be on top because you're going to have something bigger size so that it doesn't go in the hole of the pipe. And run that pipe out, what are you thinking then, to the road?
It goes toward the road, yes, but it doesn't carry, it's going to be bringing some water toward the road, but not heavy amounts of water, because it's at the base. These two pipes that are 4 inches in diameter are gonna be at the
Somebody is
base.
talking again, please.
Mhm. They're gonna be located at the base of this wall.
Right,
And the
yeah.
wall is only as high as one concrete block.
16 inches or
So
whatever.
it's gonna be buried underground, but it's
Right.
gonna be buried, you put a cover over it like the black weed guard, and then you put pea gravel, and then you put a heavier stone, and then you cover it up with soil.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and that's basically what this is going to be, to allow the water to stop, traveling so quickly and drop what it's carrying
I guess
on our property before it leaves our property.
yeah, I understand you. I understand what you're doing.
The issue that I had is that Captain Schubert has brought up an issue, something that, and I know in the past, people have had this problem and they don't want to put any sod on their property. And it just kept going and going, and our thing is that you need to be able to help that. If there's a way of doing it without encroaching onto into the roadway, that's my main concern. If there's another way of looking at that, and that's what can be discussed with Captain Schubert. I know it's frustrating because it's been quite a while, and that's because of COVID. One, that we didn't have a quorum, so I know it's been very, very difficult for you.
I guess I don't want to take any more of your time here tonight, but the last thing I'd like to say is that I really don't, I mean, the material I've read about walls and barriers and the way to do them properly, it appears to work, and I believe it would work in this instance also. Other than that, I don't see a viable solution. Digging trenches that'll just fill up again, and,
Yeah, no, that's my...
I don't know what else there is for this.
I'll ask one more question. Did you present your solution to the ACC, everything that you wanted to do? Because you had told me about the pipe and the stone, but was that brought to did that recommendation that request go to the ACC?
My initial request was very simple, because I didn't think that it would be, I didn't know about the ordinance, and I didn't think it would be rejected, so I simply said it was, merely a line of blocks, concrete blocks, about 30 of them, 20 feet long altogether, stuccoed on 3 sides.
Yes.
That's initially what I wrote. I could have written, a lot more detail into
Exactly.
that, but I didn't at that time.
Okay. Captain Schubert, if they bring a new proposal that's detailed like that, would that help? Because we want to help this man and this lady to.
If the proposal goes back to the ACC and it has any type of retaining wall or block wall in the right-of-way, they have no option but to deny it, because the ACC guidelines clearly state that the
Okay.
walls cannot be in the right-of-way.
Okay. Then I would like to see his proposal. I'd like to see your proposal in writing with the diagrams and stuff, and then come back and see. That's the thing.
If it's in the right of way, it's not gonna matter. No matter what I do, if it's in the right of way, it's not gonna be
Again,
accepted.
the issue is
The right-of-way.
if there is a wall here, that wall is going to divert the water directly to the edge of that macadam, asphalt, whatever you want to call it, to the street.
Okay.
You're going to have 20-foot worth of water getting directed at one spot at that roadway, which is going to wash out like that.
Okay, that's a good, okay.
It's going to wash out underneath the road. Again, a wall is not going to stop water flow.
Okay.
All a wall does is divert the water flow, so you gotta be careful where that water gets diverted. Again, if the issue isn't the water flow, and it is the sediment that comes with it, the way to fix that is to put ground cover on that lot.
Okay. Okay.
So Gail, and the board?
Yeah.
So if, here we go again. If we would dig a 4-foot trench down on this property, on the other side of the wall, fill it with gravel, fill it with the piping, so the water will settle in it, and we all know water in the rocks goes down to the bottom of the earth. It goes down. It don't flow. It goes down in. That'd be a great solution. It would be one of its streets. It's on the property. It goes down on the property. You retain the water that goes into land.
Then I'll have to refer back to Captain Schubert because he knows much more of this than all of us do.
Greg, what do you think? If he diverts the water straight down in the ground, not going on the street.
Let's just find out now.
Are you, in essence, saying that a French drain in front of that wall?
I don't know. Just I'm asking you.
Well,
No.
if you put a French drain in front of that wall, once that French drain fills, again, that water is gonna get diverted back to the street. So when you have your heavy afternoon rains every couple of days, all summer long, that French drain is only gonna hold a few gallons. As soon as that fills up, it's gonna keep flowing the way it's getting directed, which would be towards the street and then back down the natural flow path, which is down the street, which all it would be doing would be undermining the street. That's one of the reasons that we don't do these type of things in the right-of-way. We use that 15-foot for natural percolation of the water.
Thank you for clearing that up. So the only viable solution would be to put sod or something in that lot, their other lot. Okay, thank you.
Do I have a motion
We
to
have a
deny?
motion. We have a motion on the floor. Why don't you just take the vote? I can't agree with it now that I have more information from Captain Schubert, and I fully apologize for not getting this information before today. I'm very sorry. Okay. Okay. As the maker of the motion, I would like to, table this motion. I don't want to vote against it. I would rather table it until we have more clear direction. With the people, person that second, would you second that motion?
It was a long time ago.
Yes.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor of tabling the motion, raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye. Okay, next we have is the gated access system upgrade proposal, introduced.
Okay. To give you an idea what this is, when I came in tonight, I was told that we would be best to table this until we do a little more research. So I'm gonna ask to do that, but I wanna talk about it anyway. What's happening on the outbound side of the gatehouse, the two operators, the boxes where the power is and all that, where the arm goes up, they can no longer get parts for those. Nothing. You can't order parts for them. They're not made anymore. So something's gonna have to be done there anyway. Or forget the outside gates. I guess that's your other proposal, other idea. So, and I don't think you want that. I think you want gates in, gates out. That's one thing that will happen. I don't think that we did, and I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, should we have gotten a second opinion, not an opinion, a second proposal from someplace? Probably that's true. So what I'm asking is just to table this, I guess, until we can get more information. Sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. Like a second, maybe a second bid from a second company. So I'm gonna ask to just table this until we can do a little more research.
I'll second it, no.
Larry, should we not get 3 bids? I thought everything was 3 bids.
Well, that's okay if we can do it, but I mean,
Yeah, just
do
for
it, you
thinking.
know.
Sometimes you can't get three.
Good
bids
idea.
Because there's only certain companies that.
And another thing, I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk about something else. This is only it's called access, but it is only the mechanical going in and out of the gates. It has nothing to do with the computer system. That is also called access, but that's a computer system is access. This is just saying access, getting in and out of the community. So somewhere down the road, you're gonna find that we're gonna need probably a new, computer access also. Maybe not access, may not be the right system, but something like that, I believe. That'll come into play somewhere down the road. I don't know how old these things are, but they are very old. And they're not gonna last forever. Okay, I'll be quiet.
Okay. I'll just let everybody know before we vote on this, the reason I asked to table this is because the bonding and insurance and liquidation damages is not in this proposal as well. When you read on the terms and conditions down at the bottom, it says payment and performance bonding requirements and costs are not included in this proposal and shall be quoted at an additional cost to the client upon request. That was another reason why I wanted, because we don't know what the bonding and insurance is gonna be. So, all in favor of tabling this, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the next thing on the agenda is fee schedule update, where it is.
Okay, this is a proposal that the Finance Committee came up with, and this can be done anytime. I don't believe the membership votes on this. I think it's something the board approves or disapproves. Right now, we charge everybody for a background check, and it's $75. We would like to raise that, the Finance Committee would like to have that raised to $100 per person.
Okay, what's the cost of it? What do they cost, what's the cost us to have it done, for $43?
No, yes, there's 2 charges. There's one company that we have that does the background checks for the United States. There's another company that does our background checks for international, the Canadians or wherever they're from. The American, the one that does the U.S. background checks is $43, Rich, yes. The one that does the international checks is $50. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the changes to the rules and regulations, Article 7, fee schedule, screening of renters, buyers from $75 to $100. The change would be effective 30 days from the approval by the Board of Directors.
I'll second
Any discussion?
Any question? Ken?
Al? Yeah. you got one.
Second, right?
Okay.
Good morning, or good evening, Ken Duncan, Unit 2. Hey Larry, have we explored the possibility of potentially getting a program like LexisNexis? I happened to get up on the computer page and checked off of Carol's numbers that it basically says in the month of January, we've done 62. Is there a program out there like LexisNexis where we can keep all that money in-house instead of paying it out?
Ooh, I don't know that, Ken, I surely don't. Carol, or
something you could,
have you ever looked into that, Carol or Arlene?
I don't think we ever have, no.
Sorry, Ken, we have never done that. I honestly, give it a try, huh? We'll look into it and see if it'll work. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Ken. Hi.
My question is, are we allowed to make a profit on these fees? Yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We ought to make more. But yes, we can make profit on them.
and that's something that will bring in revenue, keep our assessments down, and for people first coming in.
And then, one more.
Yep.
Last October, or maybe before then, I thought the last board had voted to have, the estoppel fees be more for people that were in arrears. Are we going to get those?
It should be.
Do we use them? Or, because they're not in my rule book?
Yeah, they are doing it. What you're talking about, and I'm trying to remember to be sure for you. Estoppel fees are $200. Now, in the past board approved, and it is being done. I know it's not in your book, and it should be, but it's not. And I believe it's past due estoppel fees is a charge of, I believe it's $400. Arlene, does that sound right?
I
Or?
believe so. I'm not 100% sure because I don't do it, but I believe that is correct.
Yeah, I believe it's 400 now.
Okay, because
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was even on the website.
I can't tell you that either if it's on the website.
Well, I can't either, because I'm questioning it myself, so don't worry about it.
All right.
But
we are
gonna
charging.
table this, or are we gonna take a vote
No,
on it?
we are charging. I think we can just take a vote on it, and it's up to the board to approve it or.
Okay, and that way, if we decide to go to LexisNexis,
Yeah,
that'd
that we
be
can do
good.
later, yes,
Okay.
once we look into that. Okay?
Please stop the chatter, we're talking here.
Okay, so I had a motion, I think I had a second, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll vote on it. Anybody, all in favor of going from $75 to $100? Raise your right hand and say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, no, none opposed. Okay, the last thing here is report of directors. Somebody got anything?
Well, I was wondering about some table items. The ACC 3.13, were you going to bring that back or withdraw it?
That's the one with the can't spend within.
Yes,
12 inches?
yes.
Yes, we're gonna bring it back. It was discussed yesterday at the, well, this one actually does the Zoom, right? Yep.
Okay. That was it? Thanks. I don't have anything at this time.
Hey, Rich? Larry?
I've got one thing. The finance committee, which was made up of, everybody. 5 people. It was, Anna Webster, Dave Fagan, Tom Willington, Ken Sajak, and Mike Garantano. were the finance committee last year when we did the budget. And I think they did a very good job. And I thank the community for approving a $3 increase, which was never done before. But I would like to release them from their duties. Is that something that the board has to approve, or how do we do that?
Good question.
Yeah. They are members, the board, the committee is in force until they are up. Right. The committees are enforced until they're dismissed by the board, because we voted on the committee.
Just, yeah, okay.
So can I have a vote then that it's okay to, I don't know if I said that right, to release the finance committee?
Second?
Thanks.
All in favor of releasing the finance committee, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No? Okay, good.
Okay, a couple of things. The beautification committee. We have very few members, and the beautification committee tries to keep up with all of the flower beds. It's impossible. You've got about 3 people doing that, and all summer long, you can't even get out there half the time. So what they're looking at is to concentrate on the front sign, the guardhouse, the fountain area, the administration office, and the clubhouse to help Vince and all of his guys to clean that up. And their hope is to be able to bring something more to the administration office, because it's a little dull down there, and that's the first place that people see. So they're looking at that, but there'll be more to come. And also, I have anything for the UNRX, because we meet next month. Bingo, they're still losing money. I understand they paid rent this month, but they are now advertising in a free paper, and they're gonna give it a month or 2, I think it is, to see how that works, and then their committee will decide if they're going to be able to keep going forward.
That's for Friday night?
Yes, Friday night bingo. And they are, when they pay rent, they pay normally 22 something, Jerry, I can't remember exactly. 22.40, I think it is. And that is also, over $22,000. That is a 50 cents of our assessment. So it was really important to keep them. But people are not coming. They had to bring down the jackpots, because they just weren't making any money. They were less than 100 this week, and they really need 125. And if they can get up to 125 before the end of March, they will keep it operating, and then they will be able to pay the amount. But they will decide in March. Am I saying that right? Bingo people? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
I thought we was going to stop them at the end of January, but they didn't have 115.
No, I said it was under 100.
No, but I thought if they didn't have 115 people, we were gonna stop having bingo.
Who we were gonna stop them? The board?
No, listen, all right, let's not get into anything. All right, please. It is the bingo that runs the bingo, okay? It is no longer in our jurisdiction, because they put their finances into an EIN account. Because I said, should I still be the liaison? And they did ask me to stay there with them, so the board can keep apprised twice a month as to what they're doing. They're the ones that will make the decision.
No, we will make the decision, because if they're not paying rent, they're using the facilities. They're the ones making the money off of it.
Jerry, I'd like to say something right, when you're saying that you should discontinue bingo because they're not paying rent. There is a group in here that comes in here 3 days a week, uses our facilities, and does not pay a dime of rent. And many of the people that come,
It needs to be addressed then. Why should they pay rent if somebody else doesn't pay? I mean, what's the deal? Why should they get the freedom? Just like Anna Webster, I'm sorry, Anna, I'm gonna talk to you about it right here. He told me the Friday night bingo was not wearing masks. So, my question is that one of the reasons why they're not getting people to show up? So,
It, that is a different issue, and I believe last Friday they were all wearing masks last Friday. That is still up to them, and I think that my report was a report only. We should not be discussing.
yeah, but it should be up to us if they're supposed to pay it and they're not paying it. And we should be the ones to say, okay, you're not paying, we can't allow you to use the facilities anymore.
Okay. And I'm going to just make one last statement, and I would like to move this along. The bingo committee, they were not paying rent. They came to the board years ago, I can't remember, 8, 9 years ago, and said they would like to pay rent because they make enough. I hear somebody else saying yes. They don't, because they made too much money. Well, they made a lot of money, and they couldn't give to Brookridge because they cannot donate. They have to donate to outside sources. That's the only way that the bingo can work. And so what they've done over the years is they have put it upon themselves to up their rent. And they have a discussion at the beginning of every year to decide if they can up the rent or not. So this was strictly voluntary. They could easily just pay for the night for the hall and that would be a lot cheaper. But that is the reason why they pay rent, because they wanted to give back to Brookridge and can't because of the state laws. And I would like to move this discussion along.
So Gail, the board does not dictate to them what they pay rent, right? No, nothing at all. So they're on their own, they do their thing, and which is great. They do their own thing, they make
Wait
their
a minute,
own rules.
hold on. For years, y'all been including that in the budget, their money that they pay rent. So, you gonna stop doing that? You gonna tell people that they gonna not pay rent, so you don't include it in the budget now?
But it was their choice.
Okay.
They're the ones that said.
It was Brookridge's choice to put it in the budget.
This year, we did not, this year, the finance committee did not put it in the budget. Because we knew that there was problems, and even when they started up, that they would not be able to pay the full amount. But they want, and there was an agreement, between you, Jerry, and Ellie, that said that if you can pay $1,000 a month until you get on your feet. They were way behind, and this month, they had already stated that they would pay the $1,000 because they felt obligated to the people in Brookridge to do that. It's very easy to change it to, like they do weddings and everything else, make them pay fees for the evening, and that would be it, and that's a heck of a lot less than even $1,000 a month.
Okay, the ACC committee, we're revisiting that defense thing at 12 inches from the line. They're trying to come up with, like, if it's a doggy fence or something like that, it might be different, but it's probably just a doggy fence. I think that should be the way it should be read, right? Right, kid, you're on that committee? Yeah, I'm talking about doing that, not a regular. Yes. So next is gonna be, member comments,
I'd like to start the member comments. Can I do that?
what's that?
Can I start member comments?
Yeah,
I've got a few things I want to say. I don't normally talk, as y'all know that come to these meetings, and I usually have a good time when I do talk. But here's my thoughts, and some people are going to be really pissed, but I don't care. I'm done. There's probably 800 homes in here that are full-time residents, I'm guessing. I don't know that for a fact, but with over 2,000 homes, I'm guessing 800 of them are full-time residents. Out of that 800, let's say 700 of those homes have 2 people, and you 50 people or so that are here tonight, I really appreciate you being here. But let's say there's 800 homes. 700 of those homes probably have 2 people in them, which is a total of 1,400 people. The other 100 may only have 1 person in that household. We all know how that works. So anyway, that would be a total of 1,500 people. 1,500 people in here, 4 people ran for the board. I think that's terrible. I don't think Brookridge cares. I don't understand it. I don't know what the other will say, 1,496 people. I don't think they have a right to come to a board meeting and bitch. I'm sorry, I don't. So with that said, your new board will be sworn in next month. Last, as of this time, I'm resigning from this board. And I want my name removed for the new board that'll be installed next month. I will not be a part of it. I'd like to thank everybody that has supported me, and there's a lot of you have. I don't think I have anybody that calls me and doesn't, says bad words to me. But I think I'm just fed up. I'm fed up. I can't, by this community, can't find more than 4 people to run for board. Now, when the board convenes next month, you're only gonna have 6 people on the board. I physically, I am done. I can't do anymore. I'm tired out. I don't sleep nights. I worry about stuff here, and I'm not gonna do it anymore. Our son lives over in Titusville, and my wife and I try to go over and see him every 3 weeks or so. And when I'm over there, if we're there for 2 nights, I sleep for 2 nights. I don't wake up till 7:30 in the morning. When I come back here, I could be awake at 4 o'clock worried about something in here, and I'm not gonna do it anymore. I wanna thank everybody that supported me, but I'm leaving.
Thanks, Larry. Just to tell people of the past, tell you the truth. In 1990, I was here. 1980, I was here with my folks. It's a big change. Nobody steps forward anymore. Back then, you wouldn't believe it, the people who would want to be on things, be in clubs, be on the board. It's different today. Nobody wants to step forward and take care of business.
I'd like to address the board. At this time, because of ongoing financial issues, I would like to propose that Gail Metcalf step in as treasurer until the elections. We do. We have to have a treasurer.
I would accept that.
Motion for the treasurer being A-Boss, Steery, seconded by Stratton. All in favor of making Gil Metcalf treasurer, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
And yes, you can hold 2 offices. So are you accepting the vice president and the treasurer?
If we need a vice president, but we also have Rosemary as second vice president.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Any other comments from there? Yeah, I'm starting right here on this side. Yeah, go ahead.
Val,
Gotta get with the,
Member comments?
members' comments, right? We finished the board?
yeah.
And finish the board.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that there is 3 people running, there's 4 openings. So when you cast your ballot, you are voting for them to represent you. You do not have to vote for all 4. The person with the highest votes will get 3 years, and the next one will get 2 years, and the next one will get 1 year. So these are the people that you go to, and you ask them to bring something to the board or question the president, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's all I want to say.
There's a motion on the floor too, but did you want to talk to the
Oh, there
motion?
is? Can I say something, please?
About the motion?
No, I want to bring something up. I'm asking you, as a board, okay?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys went so fast, okay? We
Okay,
could just.
Number one, it's Joanne, Unit 4,
I'm
okay?
sorry, wait.
Hold on.
Time out.
hang on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but if you're not questioning the vote, the motion that's on the floor. No, it's for that specific. Might as well just stay there, because then you can do it, you don't have to walk back to your seat.
All right, you guys went so fast, I'm sorry. Ms. Bastieri, okay, you made the motion for Gail to step in as treasurer, okay.
I did.
Ms. Stratton, you made the second, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
And if she's going to hold them.
okay, then you voted, but I didn't see everybody's hands, so did everybody vote for that?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody voted 4, so 5, no, okay, so I'm good on that, thank you.
Did the vote pass?
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay.
One question with Gail. She runs 2 offices. Does she get 2 votes?
No.
No, just 1 vote, right? 1 vote, right?
One vote. One
1 vote.
Joanne Burns, Unit 4. Okay, question for the board, for Carol. I have people coming to me, okay, for help, because apparently we have liens again. We're up to 31 on liens. I have people coming to me because they're getting fines on dead people's homes. I'm asking you nicely, the board, to please look into who's doing the violations. I guess there's a violation committee now.
Always has been. But Joanne, I think the best thing for you to do is, I'll talk to you, or Jerry or Carol. Let us, would you give us the names and the addresses
Yes.
of the people? Not now, but
Okay.
but at the.
Well, I'm just asking you to please, somebody work with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 31 liens are some that have been in probate for a long time and stuff. I wish that we could I wish there was a breakdown on the new liens that come through, because we haven't done many liens this year.
Okay.
So,
But this one, the person died in November, and there's $4,000 in liens on that house since November.
okay, and that's the information, we can talk about it in private, so we
Okay.
can look at it?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Joanne.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the ones I got paper for right here. Ken Duncan, you got anything else you wanna say, Lord?
I'm done, sir.
Okay. All right, let me get this other one, let me get this other one.
There's a gentleman last row.
Yeah, there's like somebody in the last.
Well, I was gonna work with the ones that had paper first. Okay, okay, Bill, Raleigh,
Here. Hear me now. All right, I'm gonna kind of work this backwards, and I put a couple things on the,
Name and
sheet.
unit number.
I'm sorry. And I told myself, I'd let Larry go. I want to address that a little bit. There is no way, while I'm living and breathing, I'm going to sit on that side of that table. I've sat on that side of that table so many times in other communities. I'm sorry. That's hell. That's hell. They can't see the fire in front of you. You see the fire in front of you. So, thank you, and thank you to Larry, and thank you for your work. It is thankless. Back to the water issue. Gail, do you have any degree?
No.
I do, and I don't have the damn answers. Water issues are weird. You can't dump your water on somebody else, and you can't deny them their water rights. They're weird as hell. So having said that, I have a book concerning stormwater resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
I would be willing to sit down with anybody and share it, though we've talked about French drains and there's lots of solutions. But just diverting the water, I agree, is not the answer. Water's water, and it hates us. Just saying.
Bill, have you ever thought of putting a resume in for the ACC board? Because I know there's gonna be an opening in March. And I think that you should think about that.
I will give that some consideration, because that's a board that I would be willing to serve on. Not that. Not that
Oh, come
one.
on, this is fun.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Speaking of things that aren't fun, and I'm gonna work my list backwards, oh, by the way, I'm not here to make friends. And somebody told me one time, you nailed that one, Bill. You nailed that one. I just became recently aware that the notary service that I valued in the past now costs money. Is that correct? Carol, is that correct?
Is it $3?
$3 a page.
Okay, and here, briefly, and I'm not even gonna look at you because I'm not addressing you, Carol. Thank you for everything you do. Carol's a notary. I just said I wasn't gonna look at you, and then I look at you. She's a notary. Was she a notary when she was hired? Is that part of her duties, et cetera, et cetera? You might know where I'm going.
Well, Bill, I will tell you that before Carol came, the person that was a notary charged $5.
Okay,
And she charged nothing until, we told her, so
that's
that's.
because we like Carol. Just
But
saying.
it was $5.
Okay.
It's, I think your time is up, sir.
All right, thank you. No, I'm not.
No, really, your time is up. Bill, I'd be willing to talk with you, at the office one day.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get
Okay,
you
one thing about
information.
masks. Thank you for my mask. You were serious about my time.
Yes, I was.
Okay. A face shield is not a mask. Sorry, ma'am. Your face shield is not a mask.
What's my,
Sorry.
that's another discussion.
I'm not here to make friends.
Okay,
Don't
Jim,
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
okay. Come on up.
Sorry. Don't give that to me again.
That's my piece of paper.
Jim Chawinski, Unit 4, current president of the Brokerage Men's Club. Real quick, people have been wondering what the Men's Club does, and we do donate money to the community. We donated $250 to the...
Ladies of Brookridge,
Thank
not
you.
the Brookridge Ladies Auxiliary.
All right, thank you.
Jim,
Thank you.
Please correct that.
That's awesome. All right, and today the board met, and we're going to be making more donations only after it gets approved by the membership, okay? We made that donation the day of the Tea Party, which was just a beautiful event, man. That was beautiful. And I talked to some of the officers, is almost ad hoc, I just said, let's do this. So, just want you to know there are other donations coming, and we will let you know once those are made. Upcoming events, we talked about the horse races. April 6th, we can't do March, and we're gonna have to consider this. Not enough time to put everything together. It's gonna be April 6th, so I'm not sure if you gotta go through this process again, but if you could, somehow let us know ASAP.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
just too much to put together,
Okay.
okay? And finally, the men's club, the Brookridge Men's Club, instituted an award this year. We're going to be doing it every year. And we're going to acknowledge one man that belongs to the men's club that shows what they do, that awards that man for all that he does, not only for the men's club, but also the community. And the 2021 Man of the Year, I can't list all that this man does. His time, his devotion to the community and to the men's club. I mean, I ran a couple things, a couple events, and holy cow, before I knew it, this man was doing everything I was supposed to do. And I found it interesting and funny, but that's how this man is. And I want to show everybody, because this man so deserves it. Rich, come up. Rich, can you come up? Rich Stratton showed, I want you guys to look at this. It's a beautiful plaque. Rich, here you go. Rich goes way, 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 way beyond the Call of Duty. And when we put the committee together to figure out who it was just like an absolute no-brainer. Give me 30 seconds, please. It was an absolute no-brainer. This man goes way beyond the Call of Duty. You see him sitting up here having all this fun with everybody here. And he really does a lot for this community. From the dances to the car shows to you name it. If there's an event, I will guarantee you this man's at almost all of them except for your club. Okay? So I'd like, if you could please, give Rich a round of applause because he really does deserve it.
You know, it goes back, not me, it goes back to Keller, Morrison, and Rocky. That's when it started. We all sat together and says, as they passed away, somebody will step in. And that's what it is. Two passed away, Rocky's still here, and I talked to Rocky recently, he says, just do a good job as we all talked about 10 years ago, and that's what it is. Even though it's the past, things have changed, you still got to take care of the people. And one thing we did here one time, but it's very simple. Thanksgiving dinner, we fed 350 people for $5 a head. That was a great time. And all the food we donated that night went to the Dawn Center. They took out 30 trays of food. And that's what we do. Cook it, get rid of it, give it to somebody else. And for the Santa party, if I'm right, we gave the ceramics, everybody had lunch on us. Just come on in, fill the tray up, we go from there. And that's what we do, have a great time in doing it. Thank you.
All right, anybody on the right, go with the right.
The man in the red shirt.
Push it up. Leave it up.
There you go.
You're on.
Good evening, my name is Gil Langto, Unit 4. I gotta commend the men's club. I'm finally seeing the horses being used. I spent 3.5 months making those things, and the whole unit. And my brother Ron did the same thing, he helped me out. So we did the track, we did the horses, they're all 4 feet off the ground. So, thank you, men's club, and if you need help, please call me.
Thank you.
Microphone.
It's on. It's on.
We can't hear you.
Jim Westbrook, Unit 4.
There you go.
I'd like to bring one quick point up. When Larry left, he said 800 permanent residents here, nobody wants to volunteer. Well, what that tells me is that 2003, if that 800 is accurate, 2003 part-time residents like myself would want to be and be part of the board and want to contribute to the neighborhood, would like to do that, don't have the opportunity. I saw a letter from Mr. George, which was pretty eloquent. Have some of the brightest minds that are snowbirds, not the other folks aren't. You have the ability now with Zoom, with electronic phone calls, you're able to reach anybody instantly on a cell phone. Please review that decision. You have 2,000 people, a lot of them willing to serve, but you won't let them, on top of the 50, 60 employees that you have that work here, that board members either. He's taken a big pool of your residents and said, we don't want him to be, in a nutshell. So please reconsider that decision. Maybe you should put a committee together, Jerry, and get some people, get some of the best and brightest minds, both permanent residents and snowbirds, and find a solution for it. Be better, is what I'm suggesting.
I think what we would have to do is, because those are bylaws and deed restrictions, is that correct, Carol? Okay, wait a minute, but we would have to check with the attorney to make sure how we would word that and how it would happen. But that's something that, the new board coming in, we can certainly look at that. I'm gonna write that down.
I'm asking you to be inclusionary, not
Go ahead, you got another comment over on the left?
I'm Lauren Williams, and I don't know what unit I'm in. I live on Montrose, but.
Montrose, you're probably unit
It's fine, but what I want to address today, and I know you've talked about it already, is the mask mandate. The science and stuff behind the masks has already proven that the majority of the masks are not helping us a whole lot. The coronavirus that went around has almost no effect by the mask. The COVID-19 does. And I volunteer at the hospital, and I keep up on the studies and stuff that they're doing. And our numbers went up with COVID during the holidays because of a lot of large group participation events and things. Our numbers went up, but as Vince said before, the numbers are going down all across the board. The Omicron virus swept across this country. It's a very mild case of a flu. And 99% the people do not seek or get medical attention even for it. That's what most of us have been suffering from in this park recently. You took the right steps. You sanitized the building. But we don't need these mask mandates anymore. If you feel uncomfortable with it, you're more than welcome to wear a mask. But we should not be trying to be forcing our members here in this park to continue to wear them to come into this building. Thank you.
Any other comments on the left? Okay, on the right over here?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
On the first, say aye. Raise your hand. Aye.